How many albums can you listen to all the way through?
Handful.
Handful. How many albums, when you get to the end, after listening to all the way through, do you immediately want to put it on and listen to all over again?
A few.
How many?
3, 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
A few.
Yeah. 3 to 5 or a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as you could hold in both hands.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it depends on my mood and everything, but yeah.
Yeah. So one of the albums that we're talking about today is an album that I can both listen to all the way through.
Yeah.
And also that as soon as it's over, I want to put it on and just start listening to again. What is that record?
Yeah, we're talking about the Dead Texan.
Yeah. We are very excited to talk about the Dead Texan. If you have never heard the Dead Texan, please go listen to it and then come back and join us for our discussion. I just want to give a little background of the Dead Texan because they're very unknown. I think very few people know about them.
They're very known in me.
Yeah, for us, we know them. But normally I don't like to talk about the artists on this channel, but...
yeah, because it's boring.
It's boring. It's boring and you can go look it up yourself. But I want to talk about this just a little bit. The Dead Texan is 2 people, as you can see on the cover. Adam Wiltzie from Stars of the Lid and other things, other projects, and Christina Vantzou, who is a visual artist and a musician. I gathered that Wiltzie began composing and recording this music on his own, and then he decided to combine his music with Vantzou's videos, and this became a mutually collaborative project. And as they created the music, they also created the videos kind of simultaneously. Wiltzie has said that he is not a visual artist, but she kind of showed him how to do some basic animation, and he sort of pushed her to do things that she normally wouldn't do in music, and so they both kind of got out of their territory when they made this record.
Okay.
And the thing that I thought was interesting was Adam Wiltzie had intended some of these tracks to become a Stars of the Lid album or some tracks for Stars of the Lid, his main project. But after working with Christina, he decided that it was too aggressive. I find that to be very funny.
Because it's not aggressive?
Well, for Stars of the Lid, as you know, like Stars of the Lid has like 10-minute, 20-minute long, their songs barely change, really, really subtle. And so for Stars of the Lid, Dead Texan is
too much.
Is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too busy.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny because I find this album to be incredibly subtle and peaceful and calm, but it's too much for his other project. And I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first, 2 tracks. Track 1, The $6 Million Sandwich, and track 2, Glen's Goo, which, in my opinion, it's kind of one song. It's like The $6 Million Sandwich is this long intro, and then it kind of gets into Glen's Goo. It really fits together so well.
I guess I don't see it that way.
You don't see it as one
Yeah.
song? Okay.
The sandwich, the first song is like definitely like an introduction for the whole album.
Sure.
It sets up the mood. But Glen's Goo is like much darker in my opinion. Like I get like pretty gloomy when I listen to it.
Yeah. This track 1, $6 Million Sandwich, is kind of the typical ambient music. It's like that kind of like the swelling drone.
Yeah.
I actually, when I first heard this, I thought it was like an orchestra tuning up. Like it has that kind of a sound. Do you see that at all?
Yeah.
And then this weird like low end that almost comes out of your speakers or your headphones. It's like the low end is so intense. It vibrates. And then, so then for Glen's Goo, I wrote down, it's kind of ominous. What's up?
Sorry, there's a frog that just came onto the deck.
Nice.
Yeah, he wants to join.
Can I get him? Hey, little frog. What are you doing? Came to join the show. Little frog came to say hi.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. It's fun.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say the ominous quality, but then in the middle it becomes a bit warmer. It kind of starts
Glen's
to get
goo?
Yeah, Glen's goo. Yeah. Like there's like a reverb guitar, and I had this image of like walking around at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning in like a foggy city, and there's like neon lights
Sure.
in the fog. And then at the end of the track, the two vocals come in. They start kind of singing. And I don't know what they're singing about. Like normally I like to talk about the lyrics, but I have absolutely no idea what they're singing about. And honestly, I don't care because it's just kind of an atmosphere. I feel like it doesn't really matter. I kind of don't even want to know in this case, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It sets up the mood. Like I don't really listen to this album to listen to. I just play it as like a background music, and then I do my journal, and I do other things. And then I just play with the images that come up in my head, and it sets up the atmosphere of the room.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like that kind of CDs, that kind of music. To just play with your imagination, I guess.
I agree with you in terms of the, like, you put it on as background music, but it often takes my attention. I feel like other electronic music or ambient music, like, it really is background. It's like a mood.
Yeah.
Like, this track is a mood. It's a mood. But this one is like, it pulls my attention more. Like, the songs are they change. They're so dynamic in a subtle way. And I find myself like, if I'm writing something or whatever, I'll kind of like, I find myself like distracted. I'll actively listen.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we listen to it much differently.
Yeah.
To me, it's like a fountain starter. It's like, I just enjoy the image,
like inspiration
in my head. Yeah. Or when I'm trying to write like a poetry, or when I'm doing the self-reflection journal, like it pulls out something in me.
Yeah.
And some music have that quality.
You have that book of untranslatable words.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is right now, but we have the book of untranslatable words, and there's a Welsh word that's Hiraeth. I'm not sure. I'll put the word up on the screen so you can see. What it means is it's a nostalgic feeling for home, but it can be a nostalgic feeling for a place that you've never been, or a place that doesn't even exist. And I feel like the Dead Texan is that place. Yeah. Like, this is like a portal to take me to that place that I've never really been. Maybe I've dreamed about it. But it is that kind of a feeling where it's nostalgic in a dreamlike way.
Yeah, I guess I can relate to it. I guess what I was trying to say in terms of like inspiration and imagination is that it's like a deep down in me that I'm not even aware that it's there, but it's there. That's but then some certain music like this can pull it out. Yeah. And it's almost nostalgic because it's deep in you for a long time. You didn't even know that's there. Yeah. But you kind of feel familiar with it, and you kind of love it. Like, it's like loving someone without even meeting. Yeah. It's like, exactly, because it's a part of you already. Yeah.
Well, to go along with that, this album was very much love at first sight for me. Although I have to say I didn't discover this myself. My friend turned me on to this, but for what was the Sugar Plant? In the Sugar Plant episode, we talked about jakegai. Jakegai being the Japanese word for when you see the jacket, you see the cover of an album, and you buy it without knowing anything about it. And my friend bought the Dead Texan as a jakegai, and then he turned me onto it, and oh man, I just feel like my life is better. Yeah. I fell in love.
Such a luck.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, moving on to tracks 3 and 4, which is A Chronicle of Early Failures, Part 1 and 2. I thought it was cool that he used an acoustic guitar. Yeah. Because, the ambient music, you don't usually hear acoustic guitar.
Yeah. It just fools me. Like, I thought it was just the real strings. The entire album, I thought it was the real strings, but then it's an ambient music, so maybe it's a computer, but it's not really. And
He doesn't list,
it's guitar.
in the liner notes, he doesn't list any kind of strings. It's always guitars or some kind of synthesizers. So
Yeah, well, some parts really sound like violin or cello, but I guess it's not, and which is really weird to me. But the first one, the Chronicle of Early Failures, Part 1,
yeah,
is very unsettling, I guess.
I wrote down that it was kind of a wistful feeling. It was kind of going back to that nostalgia for the place that doesn't exist. Like it's that the guitar's so simple, and then whatever the weird like kind of treated piano in the background or something, and it gives it that it's an unsettled kind of a lonely feeling.
Something is wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like you want to feel comfortable there, but then a little bit something is off, and then I feel that way because of a lot of dissonant chords that they use. I think. Yeah. That gives you that like unsettled feelings.
The track 4, which is the Chronicle of Early Failures Part 2, all I want to say is in the middle of that song there is that amazing what I call the underwater feeling, which is that I don't even know what that is. Is it it says DX7 guitar, piano, and voice, but whatever that is, that surging, like beautiful bass heavy synth, I guess, that makes me feel like it's kind of like underwater and like almost like a letting go.
Okay.
It made me think of the Whale Rider soundtrack by Lisa Gerrard, which is a wonderful soundtrack. It just has that like a kind of an oceanic, like epic quality, but yet it's not. He doesn't use it that much. It just comes in a little bit, a few times, and then it's gone. But I felt like it was kind of like a washing clean or a letting go of the previous kind of loneliness from the first part, the Chronicles of Early Failure Part 1.
I think you were feeling a little unsettled, and then there's a certain relief when you hear the full sound, like in orchestra, when you not just this part, not just a string part, not just a percussion, but when it's full sound, I feel like we get a little relieved. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah,
and the acoustic guitar is long gone. It's basically all just synths at that point. But then that surging big synth in the middle, I just really love that sound.
Yeah.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So the next two tracks, track 5 and track 6. I don't know how to pronounce either of these. The Taco Me Manque and Aegina Airlines. Which I think is the Greek airline. I'm not positive about that.
Yeah.
How about anything to say about these tracks?
Oh, I was gonna just talk about the titles. Like before doing this video, like I had no idea what these titles were. I never paid attention because I just put it on.
Good records do that.
So
my favorite
learning
records,
the titles.
My favorite records, I never know the song titles.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the video, we were talking about the handful of records that you have that you can listen to all the way through. I never know the songs. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a great song. I look at it, but it's like you just put it on and you just that's what it is.
I don't know. Yeah, it's nice to know the titles, but it's like like. Sandwich in a Glen's goo, like I keep thinking about Walking Dead now.
Okay.
Like,
Glen's goo.
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affairs right there.
Was he killed? Like, I don't know.
The Glen's goo is what's on Lucille after Negan beats his brains out.
Oh,
spoiler alert.
You can't do that. It's a spoiler.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My God, you're so mean.
We'll cut it out later.
Okay.
Or will we?
Okay.
I like both of these songs. I think that the track 5, Taco Me Manque, is the it's the shortest song on the album, but it has that beautiful piano, has a thunderstorm.
Oh yeah, thunderstorm is forever ruined for me. Sorry to say. Whenever
forever ruined?
It's on the album, it's like it
why?
Kind of
Cheesy?
Pretty much Friends kind of ruined.
Oh, Ross's music?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he puts the...
I see, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's a real thunderstorm.
Some people get it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a real thunderstorm or
I'm sure not.
a sample, but anyway. But then there's a sample. There's a guy talking at the beginning. I feel sorry for you, kid. I don't know anything, but anyway, that's a real short song. And then Aegina Airlines has a really beautiful piano, I thought.
Yeah.
But
these two are not my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't really want to hear. I don't want to really hear the voice in this kind of music.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So there's that, and then there's thunder, and then there's yeah. I mean, piano is nice, but it's a little happy, and then the Airlines song also is a little too. It's like some kind of waltz going on.
Is it a waltz?
It's,
okay, I didn't know that.
Like a distorted waltz.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Don't turn. It's not waltz. But it's that kind of feel.
Okay.
That peaceful waltz is peaceful in my mind.
Sure, it's a dance. Yeah.
That's a little too happy for me. I'm a sick person, so I want to feel the gloomy and the sad and
you
the
want to become sicker.
torture, painful things because
we live in the darker places of the world.
Yeah, so like when the music is a little happier, it's like it gets boring for me.
Yeah, I wrote down about the Airlines. I said it's almost like an ascension. I wonder if that's why they titled it the Airlines, because
sure.
I did feel like it was from some of the previous darker tracks. I felt like you were kind of rising up out of that and ascending a little bit. Yeah, boring.
Stay down in the hell.
Yeah, no. You know, I can say though that like they could have put more vocals on this album, and I would have liked it much less.
Yes.
I think the vocals are just the right amount, but at the same time, I feel like if they removed the vocals, I would still like it as much. They don't really add anything. Yeah, I'm glad they're kind of just barely there, and they don't come in. They come in at the very end of a song or whatever. I'm not a fan of vocals on this kind of music. Okay, track 7. When I see scissors, I can't help but think of you.
Yeah, this is like that's that last title I ever, come up with for this song.
Yeah. 1,000 monkeys typing at the typewriter will create this kind of title before they create Hamlet.
Right. Oh my God, it's like you're friends with a murder?
Yeah,
what?
I have no idea. That loneliness from the beginning comes back a little bit.
Yeah, it does. After you ascending, I guess.
Yeah, right. It kind of, you ascend and then it kind of drops you back down a little bit.
New chapter.
Right. And I felt like in the background, the track 1, whatever he's using, whatever like synth or guitar that is kind of comes back in this one.
Yeah.
As like in the background, and then the piano's over the top of it. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like that's one of the things I like about this record is those things cycle back around. And it's not like each track is completely different. It's like all of these puzzle pieces come back and they fit in other pieces, other places.
Yeah. I mean, evolution is good, but I still feel like the first 2, 3, 4, especially first 2 songs are always my favorite. It just sets up the thing, and that's where you start.
I just think it's cool that he uses this similar sounds and builds upon it, and then if you're listening to the whole record, it's like even like subconsciously, like you might not really be listening to that, but it's like it kind of comes back and it kind of like cycles in your mind, and whatever image you had at the beginning of the record might kind of come back again. And then track 8, Girth rides a horse +. All I wrote down was the crepuscular rays which come through the clouds, the little rays of sunshine. I felt like again it was kind of a little bit happier and a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah, you know how I feel.
Alrighty then, let's move on to track 9 and 10. La Ballade d'Alain Georges. Jorge. I don't know. How do you speak French?
I would take that.
This is my least favorite track. If I had to pick one. Because it's long and it's repetitive. And that's, of course, this album is amazing. I love all of the songs. And I like this song too. But I guess it doesn't really change much. And it just kind of sits there for 6 minutes.
Droning.
Yeah, droning. I wish it was a little shorter.
Yeah.
I guess. If I had to make any change on this album besides maybe taking out the vocals, I would make this a little bit shorter. Because when you listen to it as a whole piece, each song is pretty short. And some tracks are really, really short. But this one it's a little bit too long.
Sure.
I feel like.
It's, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the things that you said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's good, but it's not necessarily great. And then on to track 10, Beatrice Part 2. And I feel like, again, the kind of the gray, ennui remains in this one. You didn't like the mechanical sounds in the middle of this one.
No.
That weird, it's like almost all the instruments drop away, and then there's that, rattling, chugging machine for a little while.
Yes. I just don't
so
like I don't like rough sound. I think I don't like, that's why I don't like punk much. I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
And plus it's Beatrice.
Well, Beatrice Part 2 has my most surprising moment of this whole album. When I listened to this record the first time, or the first few times, I was surprised by, number one, the acoustic guitar. The second surprise, and the biggest surprise, was the slide guitar at the end of this. When you think of ambient music, I mean, there might be some artists out there nowadays doing some slide guitar in their music, I guess, but I don't think of slide guitar.
Slide guitar meaning one thing.
It's a country music.
Yeah.
Technique, yeah. Ben Harper, the lap steel. He sits down with the lap steel, and you slide the steel bar and you pluck the strings, and it's that kind of thing. But anyway, I thought when I first heard this, I was like, that's why it's called the Dead Texan, because it's a Texas, Yeah, I had this image of the open country, maybe some mountains in the distance, and the kind of desert wasteland. It just slides right in there, and it makes this weird atmosphere.
That's true.
It's totally different than anything else on the record, and yet somehow it kind of fits in there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Why is it called the Dead Texan?
No idea.
All these titles. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought when I first heard it, I was like, "There's the Dead Texan." The cowboy got shot out in the desert, and then the camera's panning away, and the slide guitar comes in, and I don't know, nothing around for miles and miles. The struggle,
which doesn't sound like a struggle.
It kind of does.
It sounds like hope.
It sounds like hope.
Yep.
I think this is one of the most beautiful songs that I have ever heard.
Really?
Yes. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful, and that the keyboard sets up that I assume it's a bass guitar. I'm not really sure. We can check the liner notes here. No, it's not. It's just a guitar. It's so beautiful. It's so simple, but it's just so
The melody is beautiful.
The melody, yeah. Or there's just the refrain, the guitar's refrain, dun 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 dun. It's just so beautiful. When I first heard that, I thought the guitar was kind of almost like saying, like Miles Davis, where it's like dun 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 dun. It's like the song's called "So What," because obviously the trumpet is saying "So what," I felt like the guitar was kind of saying it's gonna be all right. It was it's like an embrace. It's like warm arms wrapping you. At the end of this album of darker songs. And then it's you wake up, and it's you're in the sheets, and the warm arms around you, and it's just sunlight, warm sunlight, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
okay,
hope.
this is exactly what I hate about music. Okay, this is the last song.
Yeah.
And obviously they're trying to put the positive spin out of these, all the struggles.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like it. That's why I'm saying I'm a sick person. I feel like this is exactly the songs that have the in the beginning verse is in a minor key, and then all of a sudden in the chorus it's a major
switches
key
to major, yeah,
because it wants to give you some hope, and it's gonna be okay,
a lot of songs do that.
At first it might be you're not sure, you're kind of not sure, but then in the chorus it's a more uplifting, positive vibe, and I hate that. I feel like you just stay down in the negative, and then when
you don't deserve to climb out of your depression. Stay in the mud, down in the muck.
Oh God, it's anything. It's any art form. In the end, you have to put the positive. You have to put the positive because you
gotta have a happy ending.
Hopeful.
Gotta have a happy ending.
feeling to go on, which I understand, but like sometimes like it's not like that at all in life.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And I feel like it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't feel like it's gonna be fine.
yeah.
And then that part of me feels like that needs to be embraced. You know what I mean?
I
I'm
see.
all about therapy and this healing, like message, but at the same time,
At the same time, don't be happy. Don't be too happy.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Like, don't you tell me it's gonna be okay?
I think that this works because I like a happy ending, sure. I mean, I also like dark, depressing things very much. But I guess because the album goes up and down, there are songs where it gets darker, and then there's songs with ennui, and then it's a little bit hopeful here, and then it goes back down again. And so it makes sense that at the end it would kind of like lift you up and say it's okay and have this warm embrace at the end.
Makes me go like, yeah.
If this album is, I consider this album a beautiful dream. It's a beautiful dream, and then at the end you awaken. And I don't know what the struggle is, but maybe the struggle to wake up. I don't know, but I feel like that's the wake.
I hadn't really thought of this album like song by song before we made this video.
Yeah.
But I think to me, the more the tracks go, the less I like maybe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think the more beginning songs are definitely my type. Darker.
Sure. But you still listen to this album all the way through?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, because it does pull me. Like, I don't really, like I said, I don't really listen to it. I just
put
use
it
it as a tool to get my inspiration going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense.
Do you want to talk about the video?
This DVD that comes with this album is terrible. No, it's it's a screensaver. It's just I don't know. Christina did her best back in 2000. When's the Dead Texan? 2004? Yeah, 2004. Yeah. She did her best. It feels kind of like flash animation. Don't recommend.
Yeah, that was. But see, I'm not sure if that was because of the technology wasn't that advanced, or I don't like flash animation.
Yeah.
I don't know, or her art is just.
We like art. Don't get us wrong.
So I don't really know.
We respect anyone who creates art, no matter what kind of art you create. But this DVD, these visuals, not for me. And also, we both kind of felt like we kind of regretted that we watched it, because it kind of, if you think about those visuals when you listen to this album, I like my own imagination better. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Christina Vantzou. I actually like Christina Vantzou's solo albums. She's got, her first 4 albums are called Number 1, Number 2, Number 3, Number 4. Great music. She's a very interesting musician. I don't know much about her as a visual artist, but I kind of feel like maybe her stuff is not for me. Adam Wiltzie, Stars of the Lid, Aix Em Klemm, or whatever, the other album that he has, A Winged Victory for the Sullen. Amazing. They're amazing people. And I kind of wish they would do another Dead Texan, but at the same time, I kind of wish they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of hope that this will always stand just as it is. And
I'd be very curious.
I would be very curious as well, but I'm kind of glad that this is like a well-kept secret. But we wanted to share that secret with all of you.
Yeah.
So please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about either of the artists or the Dead Texan. If you're listening to it for the first time, we'd be very curious. What's your take on it? And that's all we've got for today. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.